So today I want to talk about pro plans for Minecraft mods and plugins. More specifically, I want to talk about if it is okay for a developer to charge more for additional features. If you're confused, allow me to explain. The selling of plugins and mods has always been a controversial topic in the Minecraft community. Some think it's fine, and they feel like developers should be compensated for all the time and effort they put into creating one of those plugins and mods. Others, on the other hand, think that plugins and mods should always be free by definition, and they are not willing to spend any money on anything related to Minecraft modding. But no matter what camp you're in, the reality is that paid plugins and mods do exist. By the way, I'm today also not gonna talk about the Minecraft EULA or their commercial guidelines at all. I've made separate videos here on the channel talking about the legality of selling Minecraft mods and plugins. That is not something we're gonna go over today. I simply want to discuss this from like a moral standpoint. Also, I do quickly want to say thank you so much for subscribing. We recently surpassed the 100,000 subscribers, which is incredible. At the same time, still more than 80% of my daily viewers is not actually subscribed, which means there's a big chance you might think you are, but you may not actually be in reality. So if you could just double check if you are, that would help me out a crazy ton. Let's aim for the 200k. So okay, let me give you a few examples. The first example is the mod Axiom. This mod is 100% free to download and use for anyone that wants to. But upon using it for a while, you might eventually notice that some features are locked behind a pro plan. Now more specifically, these features are multiplayer related, and basically the way it works is if you want to use Axiom on a multiplayer server with the goal to, for example, make some big builds together with a team to eventually sell those builds on websites like Build by Bit, then if that is your goal, you will have to pay for Axiom's commercial license. I know it is called a commercial license and not a pro plan, but when I say pro plan, I simply refer to features being locked behind a paywall. And that's what Axiom is doing. For some multiplayer features, especially if you want to use them commercially, you will need to pay money. Okay, next example. Model Engine. Model Engine is a very popular plugin for Minecraft that a lot of other plugins rely on. Especially plugins that add custom mobs and cool animations, they usually rely on Model Engine. And Model Engine has always been a paid plugin, and quite an expensive one at that. Currently it retails for $19. I assume that's $19, but it could be euros too, I don't really know. But about 1 year ago, the developer behind Model Engine announced Model Engine 4, a brand new version of the plugin that was completely rebuilt from the ground up, utilizing new and modern mechanics to actually show the models, making it so the plugin would run better and be more future-proof. And the release of this new version meant that everyone who bought Model Engine 3 previously now had to re-buy the plugin, and it was now $40. Now, right after the release of Model Engine 4, there was a period where people that purchased Model Engine 3 before could actually get a discount, but they still had to spend money again to get the new version, and they didn't really have a choice because support for Model Engine 3 was eventually just dropped, and it hasn't received any more updates since the start of 2024. Okay, keep that all in mind. Next example. Phoenix Plugins, also known as one of the partners of my channel. You might know them, you might recognize them. You can use code Kasasara on their website to save 15% at checkout, which also helps me out along the way. But still, we gotta talk about them for a bit, because recently they announced Phoenix Crates Pro, a pro version of the Phoenix Crates plugin. Now, Phoenix Crates, in case you've never heard about it, is a very good loot crate plugin for Minecraft. I've made a few videos about it here on the channel, but now they've decided to make a Pro version. Now, with the release of the Pro version, nothing changes for the regular Phoenix Crates plugin. It will still continue to receive updates, so it always works in the latest version of Minecraft. Also, no features will get removed from the basic plugin. Everything that the regular Phoenix Crates included before, it will still include now, though there is now just also a pro plan, which is of course more expensive and includes additional features that some pro users might be interested in. The regular plugin still works, still receives updates, nothing changed there. There's just another, more expensive version now with some extra features for people that want and need them. Okay, I've given you 3 examples of developers charging money for a pro plan. And with a pro plan in this case, I just mean additional features. Is that, in your opinion, okay? What are your thoughts on these pro plans? And if you're someone who is against the selling of Minecraft plugins and mods in the first place, then of course you're also not gonna like these pro plans. But for someone who is not against spending some money on a Minecraft plugin or mod every once in a while, what are your thoughts on something like this? Do let me know in the comments down below. In my opinion, there are multiple ways to look at it, and I'm gonna go over that now. First of all, I want to just say straight away, yes, it sucks when something costs money. I mean, if it would all be free, then I guess we would all really like that. But the reality is, a lot of very good plugins and mods are not free. If a developer is able to charge for a plugin or a mod or anything else, then usually that means that they're able to spend more time on developing that plugin or mod. Let's say you're someone who has to work a 40 or 50-hour job, and you also want to develop something for Minecraft along the side, then the only time you can actually do that is, you know, the few hours you get left in the evening. But if you're actually able to sell whatever you've created, and you're able to turn that into substantial income, then eventually you might be able to work less, or maybe take on plugin or mod development as your full-time job, and then you will simply be able to spend more time making that thing. And if you can spend more time on it, you can make it better, implement more features, update it quicker, and just overall improve the experience a lot for users. So the concept of selling plugins and mods makes total sense. And completely ignoring the EULA for now, I understand why developers do it. With that being said, what can you expect if you purchase a Minecraft mod or plugin? Well, what a lot of us expect, maybe unknowingly, is a lifetime of updates. It has really kind of become the norm that if you purchase a plugin on Spigot MC or Build by Bit, that you expect the developer to update that plugin for every single Minecraft version that follows. And maybe even add some features along the way. Now, while this is what the majority expects, this is not what these platforms want you to expect. Because every single time you purchase a plugin on one of these websites, they are very, very clear that you should not expect anything whatsoever. When you click up purchase on the Spigot MC website, they immediately greet you with a big disclaimer, which says, once your purchase has been approved, you will be able to download this resource. You are only guaranteed to be able to download this resource as is once. No additional downloads or updates are guaranteed. And on Build by Bit, this is exactly the same. They word it a little bit different, but it does come down to the same thing. So if you purchase a plugin on Spigot MC, you are only guaranteed a single download of that plugin as it is at the moment of purchasing. The developer is not required by any means to ever update the plugin or add any features whatsoever. And you agree to this every single time you purchase something from Spigot. Now, luckily, the majority of the Minecraft community has kind of decided to not do that. And instead, most developers actually keep their plugins up to date, which is amazing to see. But this definitely shows the difference between what we do expect when we purchase a plugin from Spigot and what Spigot wants us to expect, which is basically nothing. So now back to the question. Is it okay for a plugin or mod developer to charge more for additional features? Again, it does suck when you have to pay more to access certain things. But if you try to look at it from the developer's perspective, it does kinda make sense. So let's go back to the first example about Axiom. Axiom is, because of the Minecraft commercial guidelines, 100% free to download and use. It has to be. If they would charge for the mod up front, it would be breaking the guidelines. But because they offer it for free, it is in fact not. With that being said, they do charge for some additional features. This, according to Mojang themselves, doesn't break the EULA, but even if it doesn't break the EULA, is it then still okay? I mean, that's for you to decide if you think it's okay or not, but I can understand why they would do it. Because the developer of Axiom is literally putting all of their heart and soul into making this mod as awesome as it can be, and they have to release it all for 100% free, and then they would just be sitting there and watching other people grab their mod, making builds with that mod and then selling them for dozens of euros online. I understand that might not feel very fair, because looking at it from the perspective of the developer, you are the person who is making the tool. You are spending so much time and effort into making it, and you earn nothing from doing that because you are not allowed to sell it. But then you just watch other people grab your tool, make things with your tool, and then actually make money with the things they made with your tool. That for sure doesn't sound very fair. And while I'm still against the whole Discord system that the Axiom developer has set up, I can understand where they're coming from. And I get that you would want to charge for a commercial license. And then back to the second example, Model Engine. Something I don't like is that they fully dropped support for Model Engine 3. Like, yeah, you can still buy it and get it, and it will still work fine on Minecraft version 1.16 till 1.20, but it's no longer receiving any updates. And development has fully shifted to Model Engine 4. And while I feel like the shift from 3 to 4 could have been handled better, I can also understand why they wanted to charge again for Model Engine 4. Because if they would not have been able to charge for it, maybe it would not have even existed. Like, Model Engine 4 is truly a rework of the entire plugin. It utilizes all new mechanics. It is basically a new engine. An engine that had to be rebuilt from the ground up. If you would be unable to charge for that, and you would have to release it just as a free update for everyone who already owns Model Engine, then it might simply not have been doable. Maybe the developer would have never decided to make the plugin so much more efficient, because spending hundreds, maybe thousands of hours on developing something and then releasing it as a free update is just not a very good business strategy. While it definitely sucks that a plugin that you purchased before all of a sudden stops receiving updates and the developer just moves on with an upgraded version which costs $40, I can also totally understand why the extra charge was needed to fund the new engine in the first place. Because without the financial support of those buyers, it might not have even existed. And now to the Phoenix plugins example. They have just decided to make a version of the plugin with more features and charge some extra for it. The plugin as it was can still be bought. It will also still receive updates and bug fixes. It is still gonna be actively maintained, but now there is just another version, a pro version, which costs more, but also provides you with additional features. Again, just like with the Model Engine example, features that might never have been made if it weren't for a pro plan, because the project has to be funded somehow. If plugin and mod development is what you do for a living, which as far as I know is the case for all three of these examples, it doesn't really make sense to spend hundreds or thousands of hours on what will eventually just be a free update. You might have a lot of ideas and things you want to do with the plugin or mod, but doing it for free just doesn't really work, because that would mean you would have to quit the development job and you would have to work somewhere else, which is gonna take up the majority of your time, and then in all of your free hours you will be really tired and you might not even be able to work on your project, or maybe like 1 hour in the evening, which would make development and updates and bug fixes very slow, and a developer being able to put all of their heart, soul and time into one of these projects is the best case scenario for users. But unfortunately that does come at a cost. But what I'm actually curious about is your opinion. What do you think? Do you feel like it is okay for developers to charge more for these additional features? Or do you feel like as soon as you've purchased a plugin once, you should just receive lifetime feature and version updates until the developer decides to call it a day? Or maybe you have another opinion. Whatever it may be, do let me know in the comments down below. And with that being said, that's gonna be it for today. Do make sure to subscribe to my channel, join my Discord. Thank you so much, channel members. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, see you later, bye bye!